Donald Trump has been praising the decision of Hillary Clinton's top aide to separate from her husband, Anthony Weiner. He's blasting Clinton in the process. Huma Abedin has announced she's going to split from her husband, Anthony Weiner, doing so only hours after the New York Post published some racy pictures that the former congressman had allegedly sent to a woman with his toddler son laying next to him. Our Week News political expert, Dr. Bart Rossi, here to analyze this and much more for us about the election. Glad you're with us this morning.
Nice to be here.
Does this impact the Clinton campaign? Does it reflect upon her judgment, as Donald Trump would suggest?
I don't really think so. I mean, suppose it was a Republican senator on the Foreign Relations Committee and he got divorced. It would be a divorce. I mean, I think you can exaggerate these things, you know. This is a real psychological problem. It's a personality disorder. I link it more towards somebody who might be a gambler, you know, and they know they're going to lose their money. They know that they're going to go broke, but they can't stop themselves. And he's in that zone. He just can't stop himself. It's a real obsession, obsessive-compulsive features. That's what it is. I don't think it's more than that, and I don't think we can think about Donald Trump getting any more votes by playing this out, you know.
Speaking of Trump and his running mate and his big campaign effort this week is going to be about immigration. He's got a big planned speech tomorrow. So let's listen first before we ask you about it, what he and his running mate, Mike Pence, have to say about the topic so far.
On day one, I'm going to begin swiftly removing criminal, illegal immigrants from this country.
It's going to be fair, it's going to be tough, but there'll be no path to legalization, no path to citizenship unless people leave the country.
This is a very anticipated speech. There's some who think that Trump is sort of soft-pedaling his ideas, while his campaign is saying not so much. So there's a lot to watch what comes out of this speech tomorrow.
Right, and I think what you can see right there in the clip is that there's some conflict. There's some internal conflict in the Trump camp. How does he go forward and garner more votes? So if he modifies his immigration stance, will that help him with Latinos, with more, you know, moderate voters, more white voters perhaps? It's a real conflict. So we're going to have to see how he plays it, but he can't change too much because then he's going to lose some of his base, and that wouldn't be smart.
We are sort of in this weird campaign lull, aren't we, right now? Before Labor Day, waiting for him to really kick up, where not a lot's going on.
No, it's almost like that you see them, you know, grasping for things. You know, what are they going to do to try to throw some mud at the other person, you know? And I think a lot of voters now have made up their mind. I think there's probably only 10 or 12% of the people out there that are still, you know, questioning which way they're going to go. And I think Trump is realizing that his ceiling is about 38, 39%, but his floor is pretty good. He's maybe got 35, 36% right now of a solid voting bloc. So he's got to figure out a way to get more votes, and he's got to go and look at minorities and other folks who are really not with him right now.
Now, this is primary day across the state of Florida, so we have Senate races, congressional races, local races. Does this long-running presidential campaign have an impact with these two candidates sort of going head-to-head? Are they going to have an impact on the psyche of the primary voter today?
Well, I think this is a good point, but I think the psychology of this election is such that more people might vote. You might have a few more people actually go out because this whole election cycle is in our face. There's really just a lot going on. So maybe so.
Well, we'll be watching those numbers and results later today. Dr. Rossi, thanks for coming in. Wait News This Morning is right back after the break.